Hey guys, it's Aynsley here from the Drop Stitch Diary. So today I am going to be making a field note size traveler's notebook that I'm using these printables that I got off of wonderful.com. I'm going to put the link in the description down below. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I've been really getting into the traveling notebook scene, and I found that I haven't really found too many Canadian shops online where I can get things like this. And yet this one website, this Wonderful, has a bunch of different inserts. She's got like calendar inserts, she's got this expense insert, I think she has a daily insert, and they're all free printables. And it's really not that hard to put together. I know there are a ton of videos out there. I just thought I'd show you guys how I do it personally, because I know everybody kind of does it different, and so I'm just gonna kind of show you how I do it. So first you get your printable and you're gonna print it out double-sided so you have both facing up the right way. So make sure you put in your printer the right way so that's the same way. And then what you're gonna do is you're just going to fold your paper in half here, line it up, crease it a little bit. I have got a bone folder here, so I am just going to crease my line there. And you're gonna keep doing this for all of your inserts. And I think I printed out, 15 of them. I'm guessing there because I'm not entirely sure, and every once in a while my printer decides that it hates me and it'll skip a page. So I might have 16, I might have 14. It's somewhere around that number. And I mean, you can really pick however many you want. I just thought that 15 was a good number because it gives me, when you fold in half, then you get 30, which really means you get 60 of these little pages. Anyways, and if you don't have a bone folder, sorry, I should have told you guys this. If you don't have a bone folder, I'm going to make sure that I'm in frame here. You know, crease it with your fingernail. Just do it like that. I've got a ruler here. You can always use the backside of your ruler and just crease it just so that it's got a really nice crease line on it. And then all you're going to do is take all of your inserts and you're going to place them one inside another. So do the 3 you have here, and then I've got the rest sitting over to the side here already done, so you guys didn't have to watch me do all that boring stuff. Put them all together, kind of line them up, and then what you're going to need to do is make sure that you have, sorry, I've got another one in here, is you need a cover. Now you don't have to necessarily put a cover on it. I mean, you could leave it just as a paper like this. I just want a cover on it. So I picked this piece of scrapbook paper. I have cut it down to 8.5 by 11, and I creased it down the center so that it fits. If I get these all lined up properly, they all fit together. Now the reason I don't cut mine down beforehand, because I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll trim their paper to the right size before they start, and then they'll either staple it, sew it together, bind it, do whatever they need to do, and then they're done. But as you can see here, your papers, as you put them in the center, they push out at the edge, and I don't like that. And I find that even if you cut it beforehand, you still get this, and then you still have to cut it again afterwards. So I'm like, why do it twice, right? So I leave them full size, I bind them together, and then I go and trim afterwards, and I'll show you how I do that. So what I've done first with my 8.5 by 11 here, sorry, I'm just going to move some things, and I will put my ruler down so you guys can hopefully see this, is that I have marked 3 little holes here. One at 2 inches, one at 4 1/4, and another one at 6 1/2. So for this whole page here, which is 8.5 inches, the middle is 4 1/4, sorry. So I have put a mark at 4 1/4. And that's where it's going to line up in the middle of my insert so that they go through when I'm binding it with a needle. And I'm only going to do a 3-hole binding. And I've marked the 2 and the 6 1/2 here. So those are going to be my 3 holes. I'm going to show you how I put it all together here. And usually what I like to do first, before this even gets started, and I've already got my needle here threaded, is I just pre-poke these holes so that everything goes through straight. So they have now got the holes through it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure these are all laying nice and flat. And I'm going to put this whole thing together here. And obviously I am not that prepared. So when I've got these all together, and I mean, they stick up at the top a little bit too. Try to get them as good as you can. I usually stick binder clips on so that my pages don't go flying around. So now on this one here in the center, I've also marked one mark at the 4 1/4. If I can line that up right. I don't know if you guys can see that all that well, but I've got a little mark at the 4 1/4, and that's going to be where my first hole goes through. Now I know a lot of people use awls. I don't have an awl. I have got a needle and I've got thread, and I'm going to show you how I do that so that I don't kill my fingers. So I'm going to put the first one through here and try to go as close to that hole as possible. I kind of get it started, and then I have got a cutting mat here, a little tiny one, and I usually just press down on this sucker until it starts going through my pages. And I'm putting it through crooked, I can see here, so we're going to try this again. I'm going to try to get it through straight if I can. Minorly crooked, but so be it. And make sure that you leave a long tail on your thread here, because you're going to need that to sew it into place. So now from those holes we made before, you're going to stick your sewing needle into this hole now, and you're going to do the same thing and get it to push through all of your pages. You guys can probably not even see this, so there. Sometimes you kind of have to eyeball it a little bit and move it around. I don't know if you guys can see my crooked needle now. So once you've done that, you're now going to go through this center hole again. I bet this is going to be just as much of a pain in the butt as the first time. Oh, it came out the same hole, so that's a good thing. You guys are probably thinking, oh my god, what is this girl doing? Because this is the craziest video I've ever seen in my life. And it probably is, but I work on a budget here. My budget does not include buying a stapler at this moment. So I make do. Now, my thread is a little loose here, so I am just trying to get it to tighten up just a little bit. And then now we're going to go through this hole here that I made. And I'm actually going to flip this upside down. That's pretty darn close, so I'm going to go with that. And then all you guys need to do now at this point is on this side, I know, look how crooked that is. It's horrible. Pull your thread here pretty tight. I mean, you don't want it super tight that it's going to rip, but tight enough that you don't have any gaps. And then what you're going to want to do is tie this in a knot. So pull this through first. I always put my finger on top of it and try to get it to tie. I mean, I probably should have left a longer tail here because this is not a very long tail for tying a knot, which was silly of me because I've done enough of these. I should know better. And there we go. It's not the tightest binding I've ever done, but it's not the loosest either. I think I'm actually going to, oops, I'm going to tie this in one more little knot. And then I'm just going to trim this down here. Okay, So it is now bound together. Not that badly off. I mean, it's together. That's all that really counts. So now your book is now bound. So, I mean, if you were making a full-size one, or even a like a large moleskin type one, you could just leave it this size and have extra overhang, but this is going to be a field note size one, so I'm going to actually be trimming this down. So when you're trimming this down, you're going to need your ruler again. And for the field note size, I have got this little guide here that I just wrote out, just so I remember. They are 5.5 by 3.5 inches. So you want it to be 5.5 tall. So this is your center line, remember. So half of 5.5 is 275. So you're gonna line up your ruler at the 2.75 mark, and so you're gonna know that you're 5 here. Here's your 5.5. We're gonna just move this down a little bit so we can see. I have lost my pencil. Here we go. 5.5 is right there. That's right there. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that I'm in screen here. And I know you guys probably can't see that very much, but there's my there's my one line, and there's the other. So now what you can do from here is measure, so you know that this here is we're gonna say 1.5 inches from the bottom. So we're gonna mark up 1.5 inches here. And then this one is 1.5 inches from the top. So we're gonna mark here. I'm probably off screen again, sorry. And then all you have to do is, my lines are way off here. I did something wrong. Sorry, I marked off way wrong here. We're gonna erase that little sucker. So now all you have to do is line up your two lines and draw a line straight across. And the same thing on this side, you're gonna just line up your two little marks that you made. Try to keep them as close to right as possible. And that's done there. So now what you need on this side is 3.5 inches. So you're just gonna mark a couple of lines at 3.5. And do the same thing again, that you're just gonna line everything up and draw a line. I don't think I'll be cutting anything off on the inside because I'm pretty sure I've got my rulers the wrong way. So it comes out to about right there is their 3.5. So you have a little bit extra. So now at this point, I for some reason don't usually use my metal ruler because I find that it slides on me. I am gonna try and see what happens. Now I use this tiny little X-Acto knife and it works for me. This is from Dollarama. I got 4 of them for $2 or something like that. This is what works for me. You guys can use a craft knife, you can use a large size ruler or X-Acto knife. You can use whatever works for you. You can use scissors if you really want to and cut one page at a time. It is up to you. I personally like using this little one. I usually do the top and the bottom first. So I'm gonna line this up as close as possible. And then just guide it down the side of your ruler. Try to keep it really straight. I try to make sure my blade is out as much as possible so that I keep it nice and straight, and you just keep going and keep cutting until you're eventually going to feel it rip away. And now you've got a nice clean straight line there. And you've got this little section that you just cut off, and it's just all blank paper inside. You can always just bind this as a little notebook if you want or something. I mean, you do whatever you want with it. I turn it around. I'm gonna do this side. All right, now that side's done. Now all we got to do is this side. cut a little crooked here at the bottom, but not too bad. So let's just move all these out of the way as well. And you sometimes do get all these nice little paper shavings everywhere. So, I mean, pretty good for something that you can do at home. And now you've got your little daily expense planner that has got a ton of pages in it. And I left the first one blank because that's how my printer decided that it was going to not be nice and print it out that way. But so you can write on there, you know, your expenses for whatever year, or from this month to this month, or I mean, whatever you want to put in it. And now you've got your daily expense log. And then if you've got your own little photo or whatever, so I've got mine here that I made. Yes, I actually made this. It is made out of a placemat, believe it or not. You can now go and I'm actually just going to stick one of these through here. And you can stick it in here. And now you're ready to go. So I've now got 2 inserts in here. I've also got this yellow one that I made that is just a dot insert. Done the exact same way. And I mean, if you really don't like this, how crooked you do this, because I mean, I really, seriously guys, like, I'm gonna, well, sorry, oop, just knocked my tripod over. Super crooked. But not too bad on the inside, because I, for some reason, am not very good at lining this stuff up. What you can do is, you know, take a roll of washi tape, like whatever color you want. You want purple on here, you want red, whatever color you have in your drawer. Stick a piece of washi tape over that. Nobody's gonna notice. You can, I've got a yellow here that kind of matches here. I'll show you what I mean. So you can just, just trim it with your scissors. This would probably work better if I had a smaller pair of scissors, but I don't have them out right now. And now you can't even really see that you messed up on the binding. And I mean, I think it actually looks pretty nice together. And you can still, I mean, you can see it a little bit, but I mean, you're the only one that's going to be using this, so it's all depending on what you like. And I mean, if you do have a stapler, it might be slightly easier to use because you don't have to try to shove a little tiny sewing needle through it. And sometimes, I think next time I probably go to a bigger one, because the little one that I use this time, like seriously, it actually, I'm going to put this on here again and see if you guys can notice how crooked it is, because I just used too small of a needle. That's the only problem with this one, is that I just used too small of a needle. So make sure you're using a larger size of sewing needle if you happen to have one. And really then you're ready to go. Stick it in your notebook or your notebook cover, sorry. And now you're ready to go. Thank you guys for watching this fun DIY project with me. I hope you check out my channel to see what else I have. Press subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos every week. Some of the supplies that I used in this video were scrapbook paper, inserts, ruler, needle and thread, scissors, binder clips, X-Acto knife, pencil, and a bone folder. Thanks and have a good day.